The Oromos are the people of East Africa, and currently they occupy the region of Ethiopia and part of Kenya as well as Somalia. And Oromos are actually the single largest tribe in the Horn of Africa and the third largest tribe in the whole of Africa. Combined in all eastern part of the Africa, we make about over 50 million. And Oromos are indigenous to East Africa, and they speak Afan Oromo, the mother tongue. Based on the country they are from, they do speak Ethiopian language as well as Swahili, and some of them even Somalia. The Oromo people, I believe, have made their footprint in almost every country that I know. I know at least one person that lives in that region, whether it's in Norway, Finland, or I don't know, Japan, China. There's a lot of them around the world. And in the past century, particularly in before 2000, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for Oromos to actually go to school, especially as an Oromo. So to know exactly where and what Oromo made, it's kind of hard. But with the research personally I made, there's a lot of historical thing that even during the slave trade that Oromo was sold to German, to different kind of Africa and European country, they went on to be educated and make a lot of difference. The one Oromo that stand out to me is, for example, is the famous runner Ababa Bikila, and who ran barefoot in, I believe, in the 1970s. And he's an Oromo, and there are, I would say, about 75% or more are actually Oromo runners. The Ethiopian, those who represent Ethiopians are actually Oromos. Here in U.S., I believe we made over 200,000 in the United States. In Minnesota alone, I think we made about 38 to 40,000 Oromos. I'm from Chicago, so about maybe about 1,500 Oromos in Chicago. And throughout many states, there's a lot of Oromo, but the numbers, the largest would be in Minnesota. In Minnesota, we have Oromo community, and they actually educate Afan Oromo, the Oromo language, and they actually provide a lot of other social service to Oromos as well as non-Oromos too. So the impact is just like any other society, contribution, and of course there is some maybe down, but mostly they're growing the country, the U.S., and there's a lot of young people that go to school, educated, lots of doctors, a lot of lawyers and pharmacists and all kind of people. And I guess their contribution is just similar to many other immigrants that comes to America to make a change, to make a difference in their life. In the process, they actually grow a country. There's a lot of things that made us Oromo very unique, in my view. And one of these things is that as an Oromo, we are a people that is not represented in a country. So when you run into non-Oromos, or perhaps non-East Africans, like, oh, where are you from? You'd be like, kind of hesitant to tell people, who are you? For example, I always say I'm Oromo, and if people's like, what is that and where is that from? So it was kind of hard to tell every single person what Oromo, who we are, and where we are from. So to do that, to change that, what we do is actually we have a lot of events in a lot of cities, states. There's a lot of Oromo Student Union in college, in my community college when I went to my undergrad. There was Oromo Student Union. In Minnesota, for example, they have actually two, University of Minnesota, they have two Oromo Student Union organization that throws events with African and just international world, trying to promote, trying to educate people what Oromo, who we are. And so it's kind of challenging to tell people who we are, but what we do here is every chance we get, whether it's in the media or just any cultural event, we represent ourselves, which we are proud, and we work very hard to be who we are today, where we are today. Therefore, on a daily basis, we kind of struggle to promote who we are. In international, national, multicultural event, just to promote Oromo, we dress up in the cultural clothes, we sing, we dance, as music is a big part of Oromo culture. On the other hand, to revive the Oromo movement, there are a lot of Oromo political organizations, especially in the past 15 years. There's a birth of lots of Oromo organization. Before that, the largest Oromo organization movement was the Oromo Liberation Front, which is the OLF. And the OLF constitute a large part of the Oromo political organization, and they represent Oromo cause issue. They bring it to U.S. government, UN, and other international non-profit organizations, or even other international government or leaders. They issue the Oromo prisoners, they issue the Oromo people in general face. So we do support them in rallies and different kind of stuff that trying to bring a light to the Oromo prisoners, to the injustice that Oromo people face in Ethiopia in particular. So they do that. Well, like I mentioned earlier, my name is Sena and I'm from Chicago. I actually came here supporting or accompanying a group, a band that came all the way from Ethiopia. This is the first time Oromo singers were allowed to leave Ethiopia as an Oromo artist. Usually they're not permitted. They are prosecuted by Ethiopian government. So I've been kind of touring with them. I was in Seattle last week, and before that I was in Minnesota, and they're gonna be in Chicago. They've been touring from Columbus to Atlanta to DC. They're visiting tens of states, perhaps cities. So we were here. We were here this week, pretty much to show the Houston Oromo community, and not just the Oromo, even non-Oromos, to kind of come and see who the Oromo are in their culture, their music, their dance, and their language, to kind of give the young people a lot of them are born or perhaps came here at the very young age, so to kind of show them their mother culture, their father's culture, their country, their language, to be proud and to kind of entertain that. My job was as a host was just to kind of introduce the singers and kind of as you typical host do, if there's a promotion, things like that, kind of tell people the event, the meeting, the issue that was going on, kind of talk about it, and that's why we were here in Houston area. There's, for the singers, for the band, it's about 4 Oromo singers right here. Next weekend they're performing in Atlanta. The weekend after that they're going to Chicago, and then they're also going to tour Europe as well. And they're going to be touring different cities, different states, to kind of the Oromo people are very hungry for the Oromo artists, for the Oromo culture. There's many Oromo that left Africa 30, 40 years ago. So this is the first time they got taste of their language, their people. So it is just kind of to fill in the gap of between the West here in America or even Europe and back home. The culture, how the culture evolved over time, and where we are right now in culture. There's a lot of progress made in Oromo in the past 20 years since the current government took place. There's a lot of positive, and there's also a lot of negative. prosecution, there's a lot of prisoners, there's a lot of stuff going on. But so for the artists, they're gonna continue touring. Most likely, I'll probably be accompanying them to other states as well. But for an Oromo, for me particularly, what's next for me, as an Oromo activist, I call myself an activist because for so many years, since high school, I've always fought, I always struggled to teach people what Oromo, who we are as a people, that we are Oromo, we are not Ethiopian. I never thought we are first Oromo and last, for me particularly, last Oromo. Yet it's true, we might be categorized in Ethiopia since 1887, but before that we are an independent nation. Perhaps there are some Oromos that kind of give up on that hope. I myself would never give up that hope, and so my step forward is how do I teach the younger generation to carry on the movement, to move on forward and continue this until justice are served and people are treated equally and fairly, no matter what region or what religion they are. I guess that will be the next one. Very much for the opportunity, and it was really nice being hosted, being asked this question. It's an honor, and it's not a lot of Oromo people, a lot of African people that even know what Oromo are. So for the viewers, for you, for taking your time, I honestly like to thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of my community, and even the artists, stuff like that. Thank you.